Slack and he Major welcome you to the My Type of Hype podcast, where we celebrate hip-hop, not just the hype.
How y'all feel out there?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back once again, everyone, to the My Type of Hype podcast with me, your boy Slack in the building. And as always, my co-host extraordinaire also up in the building. What's happening, my brother?
I'm blessed, man. We're here. My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip hop and not just the hype. Slack, what you say, my bro? You good?
All good, bro. Can't complain, man. You know, life is life. What we got going on this week now?
Gonna be a good one today. I say that every week, man, but it's gonna be another good one today, I should say. So we want to look at chemistry, man. What was it? I think I was just listening to. I won't mention the album because I'm obviously gonna mention it. But I was just listening to one of the albums we're going to speak about, and I thought, right, man, these guys got good chemistry. So obviously, we should talking about chemistry in hip hop. You know what I mean? When a producer just has good chemistry with an MC, and we have to state that what we want to look at today is unofficial chemistry. So not a producer and an MC that are officially a duo or officially from the same established crew, but unofficial. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it should be good in that sense, man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to chopping up about that today.
Cool. All right, man. You want to jump off?
Yeah, man. So what we thought we'd do as well, just for the listeners and the watchers and whatever, because we're talking about chemistry, producer, MC chemistry, it feels wrong not to talk about some officials. Yeah. So the question we want to throw to each other is, if someone asked you what your favorites, I would put GOAT in the wording, but let's just say favorites, official MC and producer combination is. Let's just give a little respect to that, a little nod to that first of all. Who would you say is maybe your, I don't know, 3 or 5 of your favorite official producer MC combo? You kick off.
All right, I'm gonna go for the obvious one. For me, it's Gangstar. It's difficult because when you talk about MC and producer, sometimes the producer also raps in certain groups. So I'm trying to think of an instance where the producer doesn't rap and the rapper does the rapping. So in that sense, I think Primo and Royce, Gangstar, Primo again, and Guru, obviously. I'll say that those are my probably 2 favorites. I would say like Eric B and Rakim, but Eric B didn't actually do much producing, did he? DJ Polo and Cool G, but again, I don't think Polo did much production. So when I could say like, you know, Mobb Deep or UGK, but again, Pimp C, he did a lot of rapping as well, and he didn't produce everything on their albums. So when I'm talking about that specific producer MC, it's literally a producer and an MC, not a producer who raps or vice versa. So I'll go for those 2 as my personal favorite collaborators. What about you, man?
Yeah, that's a good point you made. I didn't even break it down like that, you know. So first and foremost, I put Gangstar, obviously. You know what I mean? We don't even need to get into why. And then I did have Mobb Deep down, but after your breakdown, it is true because Havoc was actually he was actually the first MC of the crew. You know what I mean? He done majority of the rapping first, as we know, as Prodigy even said. So with that understanding in mind, yeah, I'll omit that, but I did have Mobb Deep down for that reason. So I'll go to, I was gonna say Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I mean, we know Pete Rock raps occasionally. Do you know what I mean? But I'm still gonna.
Although every now and again he was only on a couple of tracks. It wasn't all the time.
That's what I mean. You don't. I don't think anyone is, no disrespect to obviously Pete Rock, but no one's gonna think of Pete Rock as a rapper. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm gonna go with them. Definitely. Just that chemistry is just beautiful, bro. Like, yeah, brilliant. That Pete Rock.
It's a shame that 2 albums, man.
I know, man, but what a two. But yeah, you're right. We really needed more, man. Even CL just needed more. I mean, obviously we were blessed by Pete Rock for years and years to come up to this very day. But CL just sort of disappeared, man. Didn't really do much, so it'd have been good to have more from him as well, because he really is an underrated MC, man. He's smooth with it, bro. You know what I mean? And his flow and everything, voice. So Gangstar, Pete Rock is still smooth. I had Cool G rapping, DJ Polo as well, Eric B and Rakim as well. The last one I'll throw out, then I'll go with Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince.
But again,
I feel like
I don't know how much production Jazzy
done, for the catalog. The reason I'm looking at them is because I'm still looking at them, unless it's me cheating, because I'm still looking at what Jazzy Jeff does now. Oh, when I say now, I mean after that, in regards to production and even just them being identified as a producer and MC chemistry. Do you know what I mean? And I wanted to give them a shout out because I feel like they get disrespected now. Especially Fresh Prince. I think Jazzy Jeff's got a lot of respect still in the game, but I just feel like
the people that were actually around when they were a group, I don't think they get disrespected by them. I think they get disrespected by these new guys who didn't even know that Will was a rapper. Like,
didn't know Will rapped. Exactly. Yeah.
I was like, oh, Will rapped. It's like, how do you not know he was a rapper?
Exactly. And he was very good as well. So
and at his time, he was the guy. That's why they gave him a TV show and shit. Like he was that dude.
Exactly that, man.
It's really strange to have those kind of conversations with people like that. They really didn't know that he, like, genuine shock. Oh my god, he raps. Like,
yeah. It's mad. It just shows you, though, isn't it, bro? Like,
well, because of his wife and because of his antics, but it's not because of his music that I know of. Although he was deemed corny because he wasn't a gangster rapper and he never talked about shooting people and this and that. He was having fun and stuff. So some people look at him as a bit of a goofy or whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, man, people that know, they know that Will could rap, man. He had his thing.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
ridiculous to say otherwise, man. But it just shows you where we're at in times, and because obviously, you know what I mean. Like, you just realize this time's just moving, man. Because it's like on the timeline, there's a thing about Eddie Murphy about name your favorite Eddie Murphy track and without naming Shrek. And I'm literally like, Shrek. Like, who's
Shrek.
gonna?
I won't even name that as an Eddie Murphy movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not even the main guy in that film. He's a side guy.
In the thing. So if you're thinking of Shrek, then that I guess shows you there will be some people that probably don't even know most of the stuff he was in. Do you know what I mean? So I guess there's that time situation as well. But yeah, I definitely wanted to just mention Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff as well. Man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, a lot of dope chemistry, man, with officials. But yeah, let's get into the meat of it, man. Let's look at the unofficials. So as we usually do, we'll just go back and forth, man. So do you want to kick us off? So if I was to say to you some of your favorite unofficial MC producer chemistries, what's one that you would say?
I'll go. Well, I've got a load of them, to be fair with you.
Same, bro. You know me anyway.
So, all right. I'll go with one of my current favorites, and that's Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, and that's they've got two back-to-back albums that I think many people consider to be very, very, very high quality albums. Pinata and Bandana back to back. Absolutely disgusting albums. The chemistry is crazy. Yeah, I think it's one of them ones where they just bring out the best in each other. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, agreed.
Freddie sounds great over Madlib's beats, and Madlib seems to do some really good work with Freddie too. So I don't know how the hell they ended up linking up. I don't know what the story is, but I'm just glad that they did, because they'd be making some really good stuff together. So I think there was a rumor, was it late last year, that the third one is going to be coming at some point. So I think it's going to be called Montana. So if that happens, I'll be very excited for that one.
Yeah, agreed, man. Side question: what one do you prefer out of the two?
I would probably have to lean towards Bandana, and I'm not saying that it's necessarily better than Pinata, but I don't know, man. I think it's just the replay value is crazy. Like, that album is just sequenced perfectly, where by the time it's finished, you're like, I just need to hear that again and just let it run back from the beginning.
It's funny. That's
those,
why I asked, because I can never decide.
yeah, quality wise, I don't know, man. I think Freddie's rapping probably on Bandana is a bit slightly better. So yeah, gun to head, I'd say Bandana out of the two.
Yeah, two incredible albums, man. Whenever I listen to one, I think I prefer this one. Not that you have to have a favorite, but it's just how my mind works. I prefer this one. As soon as I spin the other one, I'm like, actually, nah, this one.
Yeah,
but,
there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong
exactly,
answer.
man. No wrong answer, man. Okay, yeah. As always, I'm probably going to be saying that with every pick you say, but real talk, I had that down as well. Obviously, you can't think about an unofficial chemistry and not mention them, man. Who would I go with then? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with RJ Payne and PA Dre, man. Shout out to PA Dre, who's been on the show. You got you, man. Shout out to PA Dre, been on the show and that. But yeah, everyone knows, you know, how I feel about RJ Payne. One of my favorite MCs at this moment in time, and has been for a few years now, man. I think he's incredible. I think he can do it all, man. Do you know what I mean? He can do it all. He's not just an aggressive MC or battle rapper or rah-de-rah. He tells story. He has some of the best series in hip hop, I think, consistent. I know I mentioned it a million and one times, but If Cocaine Could Talk, still, I think is incredible. You know, what he's done with My Life is a Movie as well, and P.A. Dre's influence over all of those, his catalogue, really. And as we learned, you know, they've been rocking with each other from day one, man. They brought the best out of it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until
yeah, man. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. I think that, and I say unofficial because he's not. I know in his bio and stuff it will say RJ Payne's in-house producer. We know that, but still deem it as unofficial because they're not a group. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, definitely gonna go with them, man. I think they got a lot of heat together, and I think probably some of my favorite work from Payne is when he's with PAJ. You know what I'm saying? And I think PA's production is even different for RJ Payne. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely give those two a mention. RJ Payne.
Yeah. Can't really argue that. Okay, I'm gonna go for Missy and Timberland as my next pick.
Yes.
Obviously, they bring the best out of each other. Timberland and Missy created a lane that no one else can get close to. Like however much you try to copy them, it's not possible. What they did on Missy's first 3 albums.
Yeah,
because I think 4 and 5, I weren't really checking. Like the Cookbook, I didn't really like the album at all. But the first 2 especially was just like, it was like the first one was like just a crazy, because when I first heard I Can't Stand the Rain, I didn't like it because I was like,
really? I loved it,
bro. No, hear me out. Like, how can I put it? It took me some getting used to. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It was just so different. It was so different. But once I got used to it, I was like, this is insane. Like, this is so good.
Yeah.
And then I remember I bought the album and I just didn't know what to expect. But yeah, the production, like just the drums and everything just hits like crazy that he was doing back then. Every sound, every noise, every sample, just some of the drum patterns he's using, nobody to this day is still touching what he was doing. But that was 97. And it's still, even the stuff he was doing on Aaliyah's album in, what was that, 96? One in a Million? Bro, like Genuine album, The Bachelor.
I was going to say that.
Crazy production, man.
To this day.
30, like coming up 30 years later, and those albums still just sound futuristic. I don't know what the fuck he was doing back then, bro, but he killed it. And then I just think Missy was a perfect kind of Bonnie to his Clyde kind of thing. I think she was a perfect part for him because she's so she doesn't have one kind of way to rap or to sing or incorporate both into a song. So the way that she can just do something different over these crazy beats, perfect chemistry, man. Yeah, those two.
Fully agreed, man. I spun that Bachelor again a couple of weeks ago for the first time in years, bro. And it was just like, man, it's like you could have just opened the plastic and played it. It felt that fresh, like it could have just
Right,
dropped today. Like doesn't sound
right,
dated at all. And you got to give Timberland his props for that, you know, because when people come with original sounds, that's the problem. It usually sounds dated quickly,
right.
but his early stuff doesn't, man. So yeah, that's a good shout, Missy and Timberland. Oh, who am I going to go? I'm just rolling through my 15 honorable mentions. All right, you know what, man? I'm going to go with Primo and MLP. Now, I know it feels like obviously family, but still, it's not an official hookup. So, yeah, Primo, MLP, listening to Birth Family for Life again recently. I mean, Primo makes anyone sound good. We know that. Living proof is your proof. Do you know what I mean? But there's just something about when MLP are with Primo, man. Because for me, Primo's is like his beats sounds like the embodiment of just New York hardcore underground hip hop. Do you know what I'm saying? And then MLP is exactly that as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So when they're together, I just think it's like a recipe that can't go wrong. I've never heard one Primo and Primo's my GOAT producer, we know that. But I've heard a few beats that I don't like from him. And I've heard a few tracks, you know, with MCs that he's produced that I don't really feel blatantly.
Right.
Remixes I'm not really feeling. But I don't think I've ever heard one MLP and Primo hookup that don't. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, for me, definitely worth a mention. MLP's got strong catalogue. And we tend to only mention the first sort of 4. But after that, they still got decent albums where
yeah, for sure.
And Little Fame's done the production. Little Fame, shout out to Little Fame for his Fizzy Womack production because he's a dope producer as well. But nothing touches when they're with Primo, man. So yeah, I have to say that, man. MLP and Primo for me.
Cool. I'm gonna go for Murs and Ninth Wonder.
I knew you was with them.
Yeah, like definitely an unofficial duo, but they've got a strong catalog together. First few albums, both 5 mic albums, in my opinion, both top to bottom fire. They've got a lot of good music between them. I think they've got like 5 or 6 albums together.
Yeah.
And I think after one of them was called Before Never or something. I think that was meant to be like the last one.
Yeah.
But then it's like, nah, they came back with another one. And then they came out with another one. So they knew that the chemistry was crazy. And like I think I've said before, I'd never heard of Murs until the 316 album. And I got into that because obviously of what Knife did with Little Brother. So I had no kind of preconception of what Murs sounded like, how he rapped. I just was interested because Ninth Wonder was part of it. So I was like, yeah, these beats have got to be crazy. So playing that album, yeah. And then when the second one came out and that one didn't disappoint, I was like, okay, these guys know what's going on. They know what they're doing. Yeah, I think they sound like really great partnership, obviously great chemistry. Yeah, perfection to me.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Knife's got, I've got some mention, but Knife's got done a lot of work with a lot of MCs, man. That's kind of flown under the radar, man. But they're like top quality work, man. So yeah, that's a good shout. I'm gonna go with Master Ace and Marco Polo. I think that is a fire combination with them two. Man.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
That Brooklyn story for me is incredible, man. I love that so much. Richmond Hill as well. That dropped this year, isn't it? I feel like this year's flying.
Yeah.
That was
January.
Early, yeah. I think because I've been listening to it so much, it feels like it's been out a long time, but it was only this year, isn't it? It's probably still one of my favorite albums from this year, so far, I should say. The year's not even halfway through so far. I just think they sound great together, man. And even Ace said it in one of the bars as well about their combination and their chemistry. It's a cheat code almost, man. So yeah, Marco Polo I think don't get mentioned enough anyway. He's got a lot of heat, man. But yeah, them two together sound very good. And as long as they're sounding like this, I'm gonna tap into anything they drop together, man. So Yeah, definitely.
That's a great shot, bro. For real.
Mm.
All right. This one might come out of left field a bit, but actually, hold on. Nah, I'll save that one. I'll save that one. All right. This one, I can't pin it down to one particular artist, as in a rapper. So I've just gone for Apollo Brown and everybody that he's worked with.
Bro,
in my head, I was trying to pin it down, but then I was like, the album with Raskas is crazy. The album with Joel Ortiz is crazy. The album with Ugly Heroes is insane. The album with Fillmore Green, I love that one too. Bro, even Book Brown, like just that man's catalog, bro, is so underappreciated. If he was dropping this shit like mid-90s to early 2000s, he would be like revered a lot more than what he is now. It almost feels like he's an in the know kind of guy. Like if you know, you know kind of thing. But I feel like he should definitely be spoken about in higher circles than what he's spoken about, because he don't drop nothing that's subpar, like nothing. I went through all of them. The one with Rock Smith, the one with Stally, like just all of those projects. And I can't think of one where I'm like, that's a little bit. The one with Sky Zoo, crazy. Like he's dropping the high level shit. And so I couldn't pin it down and say he's got that chemistry with this guy or that guy, because literally everything that he got, I enjoyed. So I just have to say Apollo Brown with the people that he's worked with so far, man.
No, that's a valid shout, because if you, I spoke about that in the rate section, but because I was thinking the same thing, like who do you pick? And then you look at something like Grandeur or his album, bro, every single MC over an Apollo beat just sounds incredible. Like every track on that album.
That album doesn't get close to the recognition that it should get.
Nah. That's stage rotation.
Even the other one, even the Sincerely Detroit album that he did.
Yeah. Definitely.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
he just doesn't miss, bro.
Nah, man. I officially put him in my I know you don't do lists, but I officially put him in my top 10 producers of all time. Because for me, for a long time, I was just saying he's one of my favorite producers at the moment. But one day I was really thinking about it, man, and just breaking it down. And I thought, he deserves an all-time mention now. Definitely. Because like the amount of work he's put out, he has to qualify for it, man. As I remember, shout out to Kill, I remember he was saying that he finds it hard to put a producer in sort of like a top 5, top 10 listing if they ain't produced like whole projects for people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. And when you think about Apollo Brown, he's done it. He's got albums out. He's got and you know what I mean. He
really does one track for an artist. You really go for an album and you'll see produced by Apollo Brown. Like unless the whole album, because it's almost like he picks the artist, or they go to him and say, right, I want to do an album with you, whatever, and then he specifically creates a sound for that artist.
For that,
right? So it's not like I don't know. The only one that I can think of is the one that he did for West Side Gun. One of my favorite songs. I just can't think of the flipping name of it. The Eagle shit, but that song, like, I absolutely love that song. And yeah, I can't really think of any more like single tracks that he's produced on people's albums. But yeah, catalog. I can put that catalog up against any producer, MC, whatever.
100.
If you're picking up people from like Digging in the Crates or them kind of shits, you got to put Apollo Brown up there too, man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man. Definitely, man. Yeah, without a doubt, man. He's cemented for me now. He's official, man.
Yeah, man. Once an artist has got to like 10 years of consistency, I think it's then like if people go to me, you love Fonte so much, I'm like, bro, he's been doing it 20 years now. Yeah. We're in 2024. The first time I heard him was 2003. That's over 20 years of consistent greatness. Yeah. Like, I think once you put that amount in and you stayed consistent that amount of time, you can absolutely, if we're talking about Big being, you know, one of the greatest ever, he was only here for 3-4 years when we think about it realistically. Now, if someone's been doing it for 20, he's absolutely got a case to be up there too. So
See, that's and I have to say it. That's when people can fairly say that that's a 90s hip hop bias, because certain MCs from the 90s that maybe dropped 1 out, 2 albums or whatever, they're still celebrated like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
For greatness. So why, when someone outside of that era is doing something like what Fonte is doing, is he not celebrated like that?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like you said, if he was rapping like that in the 90s and dropped half the material, he'd still be spoken about like that. But yeah, like you said, his little brother work, his solo work, his all that, man. You can't really take anything away from him, man. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I fully agree with that, man. I fully agree. Consistent. If you can be great consistently, you can hardly pick out any duds from his catalog, and that's when you have to say, "No, you need to recognize this guy."
Fact.
My number 4 then. You'll hate this one, but I'm gonna go with Cameron. Cameron and Just Blaze for me. Bro, you know it's so funny, bro. I know I've said it a million times, but whenever I hear people diss Cameron, I get it. Like, I fully understand why. It's so easy to mock him. It's so easy to take the piss out of how he raps, but he's Marmite, man. You love it or you don't. And there's just something about Cameron that I love, man. I can hear him rap. I do not mind Cameron at all. I'm a fan. And I think when he's over, like, Just Blaze and that, like, Take Me Home is probably my favorite album from him. But that whole era, man, early noughties, take away the overalls and the fire and all of that, I actually think Confessions was a good album, bro. It's just it's it's scarred by the artwork, but yeah. So I do think that was a good album. But then obviously going into the noughties, a lot of that production, Rockefeller and Just Blaze, I think they sound good together, man. I think Just Blaze's sound suits Cameron's cockiness and his flow. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely a good combination for me. But I'm not expecting any input from you in regards to that. I know how you feel about Cameron, but yeah,
it's one of them things, bro. It's one of them things. You know what I'm saying, like, with it's the same with AZ. Like, people think he's good, but when I go back through his catalog and I just skip, like, I don't get it, but it's fine. Like, everything's not for everyone, innit? Cameron,
yeah, 100.
I remember back in '98, and there was this whole shit about Cameron and Big Un. Because I think some people were thinking that he was going to sign to Bad Boy or something because of Mason or whatever. And then for him to come out on this unlabel, and then it was like, who is this guy? And Big was saying, oh, like, he's the hottest guy he was going to be the hottest guy out of Harlem, still alive, whatever. Then I saw the album cover and I was like, okay. But then I like the single, Horse and Carriage. I liked 357. But there was some songs on there. Like, I think there was one about his auntie touching him up when he was a kid and shit like this. And
yeah, the Confession. I think, was it Confessions? I think it's called.
I think it was Confessions of Fire. Like, there was some shit on there. I didn't like the SDE album at all. Okay. I didn't like the way he raps. I didn't like the beats. And then Come Home With Me.
Poppy for me.
Huh?
It felt very poppy for me. I hear a lot of people rating like it's the best work, but I don't think it was.
Dipset, I didn't like that Dipset shit either, man. I really couldn't tolerate none of that Dipset stuff, man. So when that whole thing came about Dipset going against the Lux, I was laughing because I was like, the Lux are going to destroy these guys because
do them up.
I feel like a lot of nostalgia is incorporated when people talk about some of these artists, because I'm like, bro, if you listen back to some of this stuff, you're not telling me that that's fire now today. Like, when you was a kid, you might have said, oh, you know, Nelly's good at rapping, or when you're like 9, 10, 11 years old. But you listen to these guys rap today, that shit sounds pathetic a lot of the times with these dudes, man. And for me, I just never liked it. I just thought that they were. I didn't think they were good. It was more color and aesthetic than the music. Me personally, like, it just never touched me at all. So yeah, it's just one.
I like the movement. Dipset for me felt, and I've said it a million times, but it just felt for me like a moment. It felt like a movement. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, the thing that always kind of bugged me about Dipset though is that apart from Cameron, because obviously I was a Cameron fan before the whole Dipset really blew. So that's why I was interested in Dipset anyway. But I felt like the push was on Jewel. I don't think he was really that good. Do you know what I mean? Jim Jones wasn't good.
Jim Jones, Freaky.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was just like,
well, a lot of them. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them guys in the background were better spitters though than like the guys on the forefront. Right, this is what I mean. Yeah. Even Hellrell, them guys, they were better. They were better bar for bar, but they weren't pushed like that. And obviously, Trouble and Law and Prison and all them stupidity there. But Jim Jones and all that, I didn't rate. He's got. I ain't saying he's good now, but he's gotten a lot better. Like his work, more recent is better than that. Early stuff. But yeah, it was a movement for me, which I remember fondly. Like I feel like I still liked that time, but the stuff hasn't really aged well. But the production for me, you know what? This is what it is. Dipset for me, apart from Cameron's, I like Cameron, but Dipset for me feel like how I kind of feel a few people feel about Rick Ross, in a sense where he's not all that, truthfully, but his music is big. Like he's got good production and he's got presence. I feel like that was Dipset. You see what I'm saying? Which kind of ties it back to why me mentioning Cam and
I don't know, man. Like even those Chipmunk beats used to piss me off, man. It was just like do something else. Like, come on, every tune was some sped up Chipmunk sample, and I was just bored of it, bro. To be honest, but it's one of them. If you like it, you want more of it, right? And if you don't like it, you don't want more of it. So it was like that for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is fine. Like you don't have to like the same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You got for your.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go for DJ Scratch and Busta Rhymes because
I'm surprised you haven't said one I'm expecting you to, but carry on.
You never know, man. It might come up soon. You never know.
Yeah, true.
Those two together. Scratch just knows what to give to Busta, man. And when you think about the tunes, We Could Take It Outside, Don't Get Off My Block, Give Me Some More, Everybody Right, like not Everybody Rise, that was Knox. Or was that Scratch? I keep getting those two mixed up. But New York Shit, like he's giving him so many absolute bangers. And I would love to hear like just a project with just those two. Because actually they did a mixtape back in the day. And he had a tune on there called Game Room with him, Fame. And that tune is absolutely
I haven't heard it.
Bro, when we finish this, go to YouTube and type in Game Room Busta Rhymes, and you tell me that tune ain't absolutely disgusting.
Definitely, yeah, I'll check it out, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they've just got that chemistry together, man, where they just sound, I don't know. I think Scratch and Busta sounds even better than Dilla and Busta together. Team. Yeah, just I love them two together, man. They just sound great every time.
Yeah,
and Scratch is heavily underrated for his beats, man. His beats were crazy.
100%. You know, yeah, that's very true. Actually, I've not ever really heard people say, "Oh, yeah, true." Yeah, no, that's a good shout, man. And agreed. Right, I'm gonna actually be good this time, and I'm gonna just pick one more and ignore all the other honorable mentions. I'm gonna go with Snoop and Dre, man. As an unofficial. Do you know what I mean? I feel like obviously, and I know we've had this discussion before, and I know a lot of you men don't really agree with me in that sense, but I think Snoop has got a lot of heat still after Doggy Style. Nothing has touched that, obviously, but I don't want to disregard his catalog after that. I think he's got a lot of heat, maybe not whole projects, but like I think he's got a lot of heat in there. But I definitely think his shining moments are with Dre. Do you know what I'm saying? And we've seen that they're meant to be doing a what missionary? That's meant to be coming.
I don't think we're ever going to hear that shit, bro. If I'm being honest with you,
bro. And if we do, and you know, people got to remember, man, it's like just because it's Snoop and Dre. You know what I mean? That's like nearly 30 years ago we had that, man. It's not going to sound the same. But still, yeah, 93, yeah. But, you know, so it's still, okay. I'm still be very interested to hear it if it drops, without a doubt. But, yeah, that chemistry there, man. Snoop and Dre was like, they just felt untouchable. I felt like Dre just struck gold when he encountered Snoop. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'll be slightly controversial because that crossed my mind too to mention about Snoop and Dre, right? But then I thought to myself, how much work have they actually got together? And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of contention about Doggy Style. Like, how much of Doggy Style did Dre actually on his own or whatever? And then if you go after that, there's not much of them together.
It's hardly any. Yeah.
He's got a couple tunes on Top Dog. I don't think he had anything on Last Meal that I remember that Dre did.
I think he had a couple.
I don't think
he might have had one or two. I can't remember.
But he did one or two on Blue Carpet Treatment. He did that tune with D'Angelo and maybe one other, I can't remember. But if you actually think about it, is there, apart from Doggy Style, let's leave that aside. We can say that's one album, but there's so many question marks over how much production Dre did. So I did think about including them, but I'm like, I don't know if I could put them up against. I know a Primo beat. I know Primo's done that shit on his own. And there's been, I'm not doubting Dre or whatever, but I'm saying there's so much, you know, Daz did this, or Warren G did that, or DOC did this, and no one knows what the truth is. Daz comes out one week and says, yeah, it was me who did it. And then he comes out the next week and says it was all Dre. And then it just keeps going round and round and round. So that's the reason I didn't include it.
See, you know what? And they're the things that have kind of come to mind for me before. I didn't think about that on this occasion, but just having a discussion with some people about the best producers of all time. And I said, you know, Dre is definitely top 5 material. And then one of my brethren said to me that the reason he doesn't put Dre in that category is because of exactly what he said. But then I feel like that's kind of robbing him of like his whole legacy.
Yeah,
like, he's
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's a bit hard to, but I know what you mean. You got Static Selector saying I did this, you got Daz saying I did that, you got Mel saying I did this, so much, and I get it. And when you really break down a lot of the songs he's produced, there's a lot of other names mentioned. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I do understand that, but I think it's me just going for the benefit of the doubt. If Dre said he's produced it, or it says produced by Dre, I credit that to Dre. Do you know what I mean?
And I think a lot of times, like, you have that conversation about a producer, right? So you'd say, like, Quincy Jones, did he just conduct the orchestra, or did he just, you know, turn these knobs and get everyone else to do the playing or whatever? Like, he's producing the song from start to finish. So it could be that, you know, Daz comes to Dre and goes, I've got this sample or whatever, and then Dre's like, all right, and then he, like, Daz has got it to this point, but then Dre comes on it and he beats up the drums and he beats up this, and he fixes the sample and he does that and this and that. So although like Daz might have come with half a beat, Dre has then come and made it the song that it is. So you give him that credit and say, rah, that song wouldn't have sounded like that unless it was for him. So it's tricky, man. Like, I don't doubt that he did a lot on Doggy Style and got it to sound exactly as it did and stuff like that. But I can't picture Dre sitting around producing Pump Pump. I just can't see him making that beat. It's not very, it's just not Dre. That song is very kind of comes out of like the whole super cat, like reggae kind of sound. And when I heard it, I was just like, is this a Dre beat? Like, it just doesn't sound like a Dre beat. But again, I'm not discrediting him in any kind of way. I'm just saying the only reason I didn't put them on was because of that reason. Then they just don't have that much together as a duo. Yeah, no, I get that. I hear that, man. That makes total sense. I think I just look at them, and that's probably why I've listed them. So I just look at them as like the dynamic duo. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even like Hair and Snoop on Dre's projects. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a little. I like to see that. You know what I mean? It's like I like to see when they hook up because you just got that kind of feeling. But yeah, no, I totally get that. When you're looking at the amount of work Yeah, it's
That's
quite scarce.
unquestionable.
Over the course of 30 years, there's not that much. You know what I mean? Like, I went to go see PMD the other day, and like, bro, back to back to back to back, song after song after song after song, to the point where he had run through his set and he was just like, all right. And he was asking the crowd, like, what do you want? And people were like, oh, crossover, J or whatever. Like, there was still songs in the catalog that he hadn't even touched. And that was before he even got to KIM, just and all the other shit that he's done. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, that is a catalog. If Snoop and Jay do the show tomorrow, you know what I mean? They'll do like a bit of Doggy Style and then maybe one or two other tunes, and then that's it. Go home, good night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just a difference in like catalog length for me in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for. There's two more that I've got on my list, so I want to run through them quick for time's sake. One of them is Ski Beats and Currency. I think the Pilot Talk series is what really got me into Currency. I really like that 1 to 3. I think they sound great together. Ski Beats and Camplo also.
Yes.
Brilliant combination together. A lot of Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt is because of Ski Beats and Camplo. He was like, oh yeah, let me take that beat, let me take that flow, let me take that beat. Ski Beats is another one, doesn't get the credit he deserves, man.
Nah, really not enough.
Dope producer. And then the last one is Domino and Battle Cat, because I absolutely love Domino's debut album, Long Beach, Ghetto Jam, Sweet Potato Pie, AFD. Like, he's got tunes all over that. And Battle Cat, just a disgusting producer. So yeah, those are my last two.
Okay, man. I'll throw out mine then as well. Quickly, I'll go with Prodigy and Alchemist for unofficial combination. I know they don't have a ton of stuff, but they've got whole projects and rah for time's sake. I'm going to mention who I'm still astounded that you didn't mention for some of your favorites, and that's Redman and Eric Sermon.
Yeah, that was going to be one for me too.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's another combination, and I've been listening to a lot of Redman lately, man. And there's just something about when he's over Eric Sermon beats, man. But yeah, good chemistry. We know that, man. So yeah. All right, bro. So moving on for time's sake, we'll look at some of our favorite unofficial MC producer albums. We'll just throw a few out each. I'll kick us off because we did mention it a little bit, so I'll mention it again. But I'm laughing when you said about the whole Apollo Brown things. I've got a list of them here. I don't know which one to go for. You know what I mean? But what I narrowed it down to, my two favorite, like gun to head, is probably Trophies with OC and Blasphemy with Razkaz. Two incredible
Blasphemy
albums,
is just
that's just
that album is different, bro. Different.
First time I heard that, I was like, nah. And I can't even, what was that, like 2000, I don't remember, 10 years ago. I think it was like 2014 or
10 years ago, probably more.
Yeah, so that's
that.
mad. But yeah,
fire.
Apollo was just on his run, man, just like working with just dropping out them projects, man. And it was like, yeah, this is hard. But yeah, I think the ones I probably spin the most out of that whole him just working this one MC would probably be Trophies and Blasphemy, yeah, man. So
yeah,
I'll mention them in the joint. What you got for one of your favorite MC producer albums?
Would you say that would you say Prime is an official group, official duo?
To keep it 100, I had them listed down as I had them listed down as unofficial, but then I scratched them off because they're a group. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like they've got a name
and they're official.
Yeah, they're actually a group now, so I scratched them off. So I'd say they're actually official, really.
Yeah, fair enough. So I've probably mentioned most of them, bro, if I'm being honest with you. So we've got Pinata and Bandana, we've got the Pilot Talk series, we've got the whole Mers and Knife series, we've got the Missy and Timbo albums, we've got the Domino album, Okay, here's one for you, and I
Mhm.
this one should have definitely been mentioned sooner. But Alfredo, Alchemist, and Freddie
Mm.
Gibbs is an insane
Yeah,
album.
yeah.
I probably played that album the year that it came out, and the years are just running into each other now. So I don't even know when it came
They
out.
are.
I'm gonna guess at around 2019. I can't remember if it was out during the
Yeah,
pandemic
I
or
think
not.
it was about there. Then I
But
think it was
even if
around.
you
I
think
thought it was
about that,
before
bro,
COVID
that's
or
5 years. That's
yeah.
insane.
Mm.
But yeah,
Very
I
true.
played that album the most, whatever year it was that it came out. I played that album the most
Mm.
that year. I just couldn't stop playing it. It was
Yeah.
just so good. Don't skip anything on there. Yeah, I wouldn't even say that there's a song that I don't like on there. I just thought that their chemistry was really good. And considering
Yeah.
Alchemist, a lot of his beats for me now are kind of blending into each other. Like I was listening to the Benny album earlier, his latest one, Everybody Can't Go. And I was thinking like that a lot of the beats on there that he did, it could easily be the shit that he gave Conway on Lulu or Conway
Yeah.
on any
Yeah.
a lot
Mm.
of those kind of light piano sprinkles with some kind of bass, and they're just not, it just doesn't make me like have any kind of, I don't know, I can't explain it. But sometimes I think if you just pump out so much material, there's gonna come a period where it's like, all right.
Mm.
But
I
yeah, when
agree.
it comes to Alfredo, I think that was his most creative that he's been in a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that project.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. I mean, we've had this discussion before. I respect Alchemist definitely, man. I really do. But like even that new Gangrene project, I don't know. I just feel like his per.
I haven't
Oh,
even got
okay,
to.
cool. Yeah, I just feel like his production, it just don't excite me no more. And I've heard discussions about Primo now and all that, but I get that. But it's just I don't know. It's just very like it's cheeky of me to say this because I am a producer and I don't really know what's involved in everything. So I'm not taking anything away from the art, trust me. But it feels lazy. It just feels uncreative. Like his production at the moment.
Yeah,
It don't excite
I'm kind of getting
me.
there myself, if I'm being honest, bro. Because all right, let me answer me this because I was thinking about this the other day. So if we're talking about the greatest producers of all time, right? And I
Mm.
said to you, Dr. Dre, what's the first song that comes
Yeah,
to mind? If I say Dr. Dre, what's the first song that pops in your head without thinking?
let me ride.
Okay, epic beat, right?
Mm.
If I said to you
Yeah.
DJ Premier, what's the first song that comes to mind?
Oh gosh, hundreds. Right where you stand, but so many. That's literally just coming together. Yeah,
All right,
so
so
many,
I'm
bro.
talking
Yeah.
like signature beats where you're in a club and that song drops and you're like, like
Yeah.
if
Oh,
I'm
okay, I'm
thinking,
thinking about favorites, but yeah, I totally get. Okay, so Dre, it'd probably be like if you're thinking of signature Dre beats, you're probably gonna go something like "Still Dre" now.
still
Do you know what I
DRE,
mean?
yeah, exactly, stuff like
Yeah,
that. Or
exactly.
and
Yeah,
Primo, like you can go. There's a bunch of shit that you can go to for him.
yeah,
Like just pick anything out of the flipping Gangstar catalog or whatever,
yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah,
Boom by Royce or something like that, right?
yeah. Mm,
I was thinking, what Alchemist beat would you put apart? Like we could say, keep it thorough. We could say,
mm.
hold you down. Apart from those two, maybe like there's probably more that I can't think of off the top of my head
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. But I can't attach him to a particular like moment, like when first time I heard Still Dre, or the first time I heard Dre Day, or Let Me
Mm,
Ride, or
yeah,
um,
yeah.
Nothing But a G Thing. All them kind of songs there,
Mm,
like they're signature songs.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Primo, Mass Appeal, Code of the Streets, da 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 da. You can go on and on and on. I can't give that same credence to Alchemist. So although he does bodies of work and all this kind of shit, I don't put him alongside those producers that made those massive shifts. Like, I think
Yeah,
he's good for the underground, but for me personally,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
a
Mm,
lot of his music is just starting to blend into each other for me. Like I
yeah.
can't distinguish the ones he's given, like I said, to Conway, to Benny, to what's that dude, Boldy James, and whatever else he's doing. Just a lot of it just sounds, yeah, all right, cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed, bro. I mean, if I had to say that, I'd probably say that the Kiss one, the Kiss track.
Oh yeah, but again, that he gave that to Rascal first. But yeah, that's
that would
another
probably
one.
be, you know what I mean? But still,
Yeah,
I know what you mean. It's not like I don't feel like you're spoiled for choice. You got to be like a real fan to like really have a whole list. Like you say, Prima, I'll crumble under pressure because there's just so many I could list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And that's
no, fully
that's
agree.
not a slight to Alchemist. I think he's great.
No,
at what
of
he
course
does.
not, man. It's been a long
The
time.
fact that everyone reaches out to him and he's been consistent for a very long time. There's gonna come a period maybe where it's like, all right, cool. I've heard this already. Do you know what I mean? But
I don't like his direction.
Yeah.
That's what I
Even
think
the
it is. I
album
don't
he
like
did
his
with Marcy.
direction.
I know you're not a massive Marcy fan, but I am. And the album that he did with him, I was expecting greatness because Marcy, like, incredible to me. And it wasn't great, bro. Like, and that was when I was like, okay, kind of thing. But anyway, we digress.
No. It's an interesting one, though, man. But yeah, like you, most of the albums I probably mentioned in the discussion, but one I will throw out that I quite was surprised by that I liked was bloody hell, The Magician, Muggs and Rome Streets. Actually thought that was cool. Yeah, that was better than I expected. Not because of any disrespect. Rome Streets is sick, but Muggs is the sort of similar as Alchemist for me now. His music don't really excite me like that. But I enjoyed that more than I expected. And even Muggs' last project as well actually was kind of cool. And I'm gonna go with Reasonable Drought, man. Stove God and what's it called? What Marcy, yeah, man. For that for me as well came out of nowhere for me. That I think that was just before COVID, but you know when an album drops and you just think, I'll get to it. I used to see it all the time on the timeline. I hear people talking about it. Shout out to Kill again. Kill was talking about that album all the time, and I just thought I'll check it out. I never got around to it for months and months and months. Maybe even the follow. It might have even been during COVID when I was just listening to loads of music. And then I spun it and I was like, this is actually insane, bro. Do you know what I mean, bro? Yeah, it's mad. That is a classic, no doubt about it. That is a classic. And I don't think he's disappointed since. I say that, understanding he's dropped very limited material, but anything he has dropped has been decent, whether it's a feature or a little song here or there. And I personally think his second album is going to be one of the most anticipated second albums that we've seen in a long time.
Happened? Yeah, that was 5 years since the album dropped, bro.
He's just keeping everyone waiting. But yeah. All right, I'll tell you what we'll do. For time's sake, I think it's important to shine light on the underrated. So we'll fly through some of these, some of our favorite underrated, unofficial duos. Do you want to kick us off?
I'm gonna go with my boy Nums.
Good shout.
Yeah, man. I think like he was the hardest working rapper like last year. Like every couple of months, a project was dropping, and every project that drops, like it was just getting better and better.
That's true.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the work that he's doing with his partner in crime definitely deserves a mention. They got a new project coming out in June this year.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that with Furious Styles, my boy. Big up to both of them. So I'm really anticipating what they got coming, man, because there's been like significant growth with every project, man. So I'd say that they're definitely underrated. Who else would I say is underrated as an unofficial duo?
Yeah, unofficial, yeah.
Underrated. I'd probably say I don't know. I think Currency and Alchemist together. I think they've got a good chemistry. They've got 2 really good mixtapes together. No, 3 actually. So I think I don't know. Would I say that they're underrated though? Nah, probably not. The chemistry that I really liked was Apollo Brown and Joel Ortiz. I would love to hear more from both of them together on the album. I really enjoyed that Mona Lisa album. I thought that was really cohesive and really good. All right. I really want an album from Foreign Exchange this year. I want Fonte and Nicolay on an
Mm.
album this year together as the Foreign Exchange. That's what I want. So I'm going to say them.
Okay, yeah. So you'd put them down as underrated as well.
Definitely, bro.
Mm.
If we think about the Connected album, these dudes hadn't even met yet.
Met
Like,
yeah.
they hadn't met in person. Even on a couple of the albums, they're like, Fonte was talking about, I'm just finishing up an album with some cat from overseas and all of this. Like, we never knew who it was that he's talking about. Do you know what I mean? Until the album actually came out. So the fact that they were able to put together that incredible album without meeting, and the fact that the album is actually called Chemistry. It's called Connected. But yeah, it's kind of saying the same things. Like, yeah, we connected like overseas, and that chemistry is insane. I got that album mixed up with the one Knife did with Buckshot called Chemistry.
I've got that on my list, bro. Yeah, I've got that on my list. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's about time. Like, they haven't missed for me especially when they've done like rap songs together. Because Foreign Exchange is more kind of soul, R&B, that kind of shit. But the hip hop stuff that they've done together has been really good. So I'd love to hear some more from them on that. Yeah.
No, definitely, man. Yeah, no, definitely. Them unexpected ones like that. Okay, so I'm going to throw out some ones that I think are underrated. Like you just mentioned, Buckshot and Ninth, they got a good little series together, man. They got the Chemistry, the Solution, and Chemistry, Solution, Buckshot and Ninth Wonder, man.
I can see the cover right now, man. I just can't think of the flipping title. Hold on.
Chemistry, Solution.
I've got it on my phone.
Bro, it's gone. But I think,
they have the series is decent.
Yeah, those 3 albums are hard. I don't know if they've got any more together. Huh? What is it? Paused.
I'm back.
Oh yeah. Pause for a minute. What was that? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, you good?
Yeah, sorry, bro. Yeah, what you saying? What was the last one?
I said the Chemistry was the first one. Then you got the Formula, and then the Solution. Those are the 3.
Formula, that's it. That's the one I forgot. All 3 of them, I think, are good projects, man. I was spinning a Solution again recently, man. That just sounds so nice. But yeah, underrated. I never heard them really mentioned. Buckshot and Knife, Dark Low and V-Don, the Charlie Pope series. Bro, yeah, they're hard albums, man.
Great shout, bro.
Yeah. I forgot to mention them in the album.
What did I forget?
Charlie Pope. Hard projects, bro. Like they you know what? I'm gonna check them.
Those 2, man. That's a great.
Yeah, no, that was a very good hookup, man. And I'm gonna shout V Don again for his work with Ransom. Ransom just posted a little while ago that they're working on a part 2 as well. So that I've said it before. For me, that might be one of my favorite projects.
Maybe also add in without cutting your flow. V Don and Willie the Kid also. Like, V Don is a beast, bro.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
Underrated producer, man. Yeah, definitely, 100%, man. But yeah,
together, disgusting. They're
definitely,
so good.
Man. That's any projects they got, I'm excited about that, man. What else I put underrated? Daniel Son and Future Wave as well. I love Renee Hookup. That's always sounding good. I got Special Blue Lord. I think that Renee Hookup is always heat. Naps and Dread and Knots. They've got a few. They got a couple projects together, man. Shout to Naps and Dread. He's been on the show as well. Good combination. And I put Biggie and Easy Mo B. Definitely. I also put lastly down DMX and PK and Dame Grease. And I wanted to say that because it actually annoys me when people always associate like Swiss Beats and DMX. It's like when you think about his initial input, it's one song off that album. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it might be the biggest song, but it's like
nowhere near. I don't care what anyone tells me. The second album was nowhere near the debut.
Bro,
people try and put it together because it came out in the same year. They try and act like his sophomore album was as good as nowhere near, bro.
Nah, fully agree, man. So yeah, I wanted to mention that, man. So I don't think of Swiss when I think of when I think of DMX, you know what I mean? All my favorite DMX songs are not Swiss Beats. A couple might be, but on a whole, do you know what I mean? They're not. All right, so and I keep saying that, but for time's sake, let's just run through a couple that were disappointing or that you just think didn't work. If you had to think of 3 hookups that didn't work for you.
That didn't work. I'll tell you what hookup that I don't really ever enjoy is DJ Premier and Snoop. That combination just doesn't hit for me.
Interesting.
I just don't think those styles mesh. Like Snoop over those like hard drums, and Snoop is very melodic, and it just doesn't hit for me, man.
That's interesting, actually. Yeah. I think that's I mean, I'm so biased though, bro. I know I said there's a lot of Primo beats, not a lot, but there's some Primo beats I might not like. But usually, if Primo's produced it, I'm more than likely gonna like it. So I'll probably just like it because it's Primo. But I know what you mean. The style isn't. That's why he just suits that whole G-funk flow, because it's just like
exactly.
Sound,
he's laid back, melodic.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'd say another one that was disappointing to me is Nas and Dr. Dre. I don't think those two sound good together. I didn't like Nas's Coming. In fact, I despise that song. I think it's super.
Bro.
I can't stand that
I'll
shit, man.
never get that, bro. I'll never get that.
And the shit that he did on the Ferb album as well, it's like it wasn't hitting for me, bro. Like there's not they don't have that chemistry. And it was like, let's get the best rapper from New York and let's get this guy together and see what happens, kind of thing. And it just didn't hit for me, man. Those are the 2 off the top of my head that I could say. Didn't hit for me.
I said 3. I only had 2 down. I had Flea Lord and Rock Marcy because I mentioned that because I'm not a huge fan of the type of beats that Rock Marcy flows over anyway. But like I said, that Reasonable Drought was sick for me. But I am a Flea Lord fan. And I do like the work. I did not like it. I was excited to hear it because I'm thinking Flea Lord I like, and I'm thinking what Rock Marcy done with Reasonable Drought. I'm thinking this is going to be insane, but I didn't like one song off of that. I agree. Another one is Nicholas Craven and Ransom. Now, I'm not a big Nicholas Craven fan anyway, but I'll say this with all due respect. Ransom, I think, on paper, lyrically, is what. Yeah, I think Ransom is one of the best rappers alive right now. Yeah, I'm not taking that away from him. But the thing about Ransom, he needs to be over the right production, or it can sound a little boring, to keep it real.
I agree.
And Nicholas Craven isn't, I think, to go with Ransom, man, even though they've done so much work together. But that's why I said that V-Don and Ransom hookup, beautiful.
That worked, because V-Don gave him those beats, man. Yeah.
So, that. And then I haven't got another 3rd one down. I just put Alchemist. I put that because of what you said earlier. A lot of his recent hookups are just not working for me, man.
That'll be my 3rd one. Alchemist and Rock Marcy. I didn't. It just didn't hit what I was hoping for. For those 2 to come together, I was expecting something crazy, but it wasn't that for me. So yeah. So it's that, man. I was gonna say Alchemist and what's his name? The laid back guy that he works with a lot. Boldy James.
Yeah, Boldy James. But then I decided not to put that because it didn't disappoint me because I didn't really expect it. Because I'm just not. I can't listen to Boldy James. So really, that's another for me personally. For me. Bad combination, man, because it's like Alchemist stuff isn't exciting and Boldy James is not exciting, so it's just like
I don't know. But, people act like if you don't enjoy that kind of music, there's something wrong with you, and I'm just like, that's cool. Like you could like it all you want. Like I don't have to like that shit. Like what are we talking about? Man. It's not for me. Like, it doesn't excite me. It doesn't stimulate me. It doesn't make me feel any type of way. It's just boring. Like I can play that in a fucking elevator. Like it just doesn't move me in any way, bro. It doesn't.
Nah, man. Okay, man. So just to close us off now, I know you mentioned foreign exchange, but just one dream project for you, unofficial hookup.
A dream
Actually,
project.
we couldn't even count them because they're an actual group, so we couldn't even count them actually when you think about it. So Foreign Exchange, I mean. So who would you say as an unofficial hookup? What would be a dream hookup for you? Any era, any time.
Damn shit. Any era. Do you know what I would have loved to hear? And this one's going to be very obvious and blatant, but I would love to hear. And I guess it kind of makes sense because it's in the news at the moment. So there's two. I'm going to throw out two instead of one. I'm going to be extra. Both of them involve Primo. If we're talking any era, I would have loved to hear a Biggie and Primo project together.
Yep, cool.
And as we've got in the news right now, a Nas and Primo project. This whole furor about Primo and Nas at the moment, it's a bit ridiculous, guys. Like, let's grow up a little bit. Like,
100%.
Just because Primo is like the greatest producer or whatever, and Nas is like, you know, the greatest rapper or whatever, it doesn't mean that what they make now is going to be what we were expecting in '96, right? So because someone says, I don't think what they're going to be doing now is going to be what we were expecting in '96. It doesn't mean that we don't want to hear what they're doing now. Of course, I'm going to listen to what Primo and Nas does. Like, who's not going to listen to that? We all want to. But my point is, they've missed the boat because they was doing greatness in '96 and '94. So for us to wait 30 years for this to actually happen, we're not going to get what we was hoping for. That's all it is.
100%.
People are getting in their feelings about, like, because for me that Primo beat, anyone could have made that. That wasn't like a head nodding, banging. Like the first time you heard Nas, you're like, fuck, what is that?
Exactly. Yeah.
But the first time I heard this beat, I was like, okay. Like it didn't move, and anyone who's saying that it moved you and it moved the earth, you're lying. That's a generic Primo beat. I don't care what you tell me. So just get out your feelings, because you look stupid, like acting like because people said it wasn't great and this and that they're haters or expectations and all this bullshit. Grow the fuck up, man. Seriously, like it's dumb at this point. You can't say nothing about Nas with Hit Boy. You can't say nothing about Nas and Primo. You have to love it, or you're a hater, or you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you look dumb, man. Just miss me of all that shit. So that song, I played it once or twice, and I will never hear it again, and I don't care if I do. Nas is like, I still play that to this day. Second Childhood, I still play that to this day. NY State of Mind Part 2, Part 1, still play them to this day. Represent, I still play to this day. I'm not going to play that song in 30 years. I'm not going to play it in 30 days. That's the fucking difference. Like, grow the fuck up. Seriously. Like, you look ridiculous. It's so annoying. Like, you can't have adult conversations.
No, definitely. Right. You can't say nothing about Nas. That's all it is.
Dumb.
You just can't. Can't talk about Nas, man. That's all it is. But no, I agree. I like the song. I don't mind it. You know what I mean? I think, but the argument is the same. It does feel like, it almost feels like I was listening to Primo's Beats That Collected Dust the other night, and I feel like it could have just been on one of them. Like, it doesn't feel like. Yeah, I don't feel like he got excited and went to the studio and was like, "Oh, let's do this." Definitely not. Right. But it's a cool track. It's a decent track. It's not by any means rubbish. Do you know what I mean? But
this is the point. It's Nas and Primo. Decent shouldn't be in the equation. If it's Nas and Primo, it should be greatness. It should be wow. We waited 30 years and this is what we've got. Amazing. It wasn't that at all. Yeah. That's it.
But that's the thing. That's what you're saying. I don't think 30 years later we can really expect it to be. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if they drop the project tomorrow, I'm still gassed. I'm still.
And if they blows me away, I'm gonna be gassed like everyone else. I'll be like, rah, I wasn't expecting this. But then if it's just like, okay, then it's people are gonna talk shit either way. If you love it, it's gonna be like, oh, you're nostalgic for the 90s. If you hate it, it's like, oh, you hate Hit Boy, and like, fuck out of here, man. I'm tired of it. It's ridiculous.
No, I agree, man. I agree. But yeah, they're two good shouts. For me, if I had to say a dream, I've got to say Primo and Jay, because it makes sense. Jay's my GOAT rapper, Primo's my GOAT producer, so it makes sense. And the work they've done with each other, they haven't missed. You know what I mean? Anything they've hooked up with before, some of Jay's best tracks. So a whole project from them too, I think would have been just insane. But other than like my goats, I'm probably gonna say Havoc and Big, because that last days with Biggie Locks, and when I heard that, I remember thinking, man, imagine that dark kind of hell on earth sound, Biggie over a whole project of man. That with the way he tells his stories
together. Nas and Havoc,
that's a full project. Definitely, man. But yeah, man, chemistry, it's an important thing in the culture. I mean, it's we love it, man. When crews do their thing together, it's a good thing, man. But when you can take a standalone MC or group even and a standalone producer and they come together and the chemistry is so good. Got to shout out Slaughterhouse as well. I know they didn't really meet their potential, but the reason I'm mentioning them is because all they done was a track on Joe Budden's album, Slaughterhouse, and the chemistry was good and it turned into a group. When things are organic and the chemistry is there, undeniably that leads to more work together. It's a good thing, man. So yeah, before we chop up.
Before we sign off, I got to throw in one that I don't know how we let that one fly under the radar.
Yeah, man.
My bad. Sky Zoo and Pete Rock. That's one of the best albums in the last 5 years. Easy.
Yeah, very true, man.
Deserves a shout out.
Very true.
Great album. My bad, Pete Rock. My bad, Sky Zoo. That I didn't remember to put that one down, but it absolutely should be in there. Great chemistry, great album. Yeah.
That got a lot of spin when that dropped, man, and had one of the best posse cuts that we've had in a long time as well on that, man.
Right.
So yeah. Shout out to Pete. I mean, we all know Sky Zoo, man, but shout out to Pete Rock, man, because we're talking about, do you know what I mean? Pete Rock and CL Smooth in the official. You know what I mean? That's like, what was their debut? 91, 92?
92, yeah, right there, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, you know what I mean? Like all this time later, and he's still dropping albums that we're saying are one of the best ones from the last few years, man. Even his album
with Smoke Dizzle was crazy.
Oh yeah, Don't Smoke Crack, and I was gonna say the one with Flea Lord as well. Like I still think that's Flea's best project. You know what I mean? People's Champ. So with Pete Rock and that. So yeah, got to shout him out for all that. 100%. Definitely. But yeah, looks like my brother's frozen again, man. But yeah, producer and MC chemistry. There you are, man. There you are. But yeah. So I was just saying the Flea and the Pete Rock. But yeah, man. Chemistry, important part of the culture, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank you once again, everybody, for checking us out. I'm sure we've missed a load of different MCs, producers, whatever, but we're not here for 3 hours to go through every single one. We're only here for about an hour out of your week or your month or whatever. So if there's anyone that you want to add, add them below, get into the chat as always. I'll throw something up on Twitter, get the conversation going as always. Thank you for checking us out. Thank you for sticking with us. Keep with us for next week. See what we got coming up. Got some exciting shit in the can that's coming up soon. So from me, as always, your boy Slack signing out of this week's episode, and my co-host extraordinaire on my left. What's happening, bro?
Yes. Thanks again, man, for tapping in, and we'll be with you again next week, man, with the next episode, My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip-hop, but not just the hype, man. So until then, stay blessed and keep it hype. Peace.